Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new deck profile. This is not necessarily a new deck profile. I feel like I say that too much because there are some archetypes that I just like to playing and reinventing like over and over again. But yeah, so this is my Magnet Warrior update for Lynx. This deck pre-Lynx was very... I feel like you'd play 2 Imperial Magnums and then... that should not be here. Essentially, I think you'd still play some of the vanillas because you can make First of the Dragons, and that was like a really good card. But in this version, I'm going for a slightly different build. I feel like the vanillas do add a lot of character to the deck, but playing 3 cards that you sort of don't want to play, I mean, you don't want to like see them in your opening hand, isn't like the worst, because I mean they give the deck a lot of utility, but for this version, instead of going for utility, I'm going for more speed and defense variation of the deck, because I feel like Magnet Warriors always lack defense. I have plenty of offensive plays, but defense is what really was stopping them from being like, I would say tier 2, you know, sort of like a rogue contender. So in this version of the deck, I opted for a more defensive build that can actually go first. So on the deck profile, we play double Valkyrion. Valkyrion, the way I have it in this deck is one of the Valkyrions you want to be using for the Delta, and the other Valkyrion you want to be using for the fusion with Berserkion, so you can make Imperial Magnum. So optimally, you don't need the third Valkyrion because it's a brick unless you play trade-in, and if you're playing trade-in, you want to play probably 2 copies and then another Berserkion, and at that point you're just taking too much space from the deck and stopping yourself from playing other cards that are just necessary to increase the success rate of the deck. So Valkyrion is pretty simple. He's just a big beater that can be special summoned, and he's a fusion material. That's pretty much it. Berserkion, he's like one of the best cards in the deck. So the way you summon him is by banishing an alpha, beta, and gamma electromagnets from hand graveyard, or face up on the field. And then once per turn, you can banish a level 4 or lower, and then target a card your opponent controls and just destroy it. Actually, it's not even once per turn, so you can use this multiple times. And then when this card is destroyed, you can target a beta, alpha, gamma that are banished and special summon all 3 of them. So a lot of floatiness, I would say, the deck has. This is definitely like your go-to main deck boss monster. You always want to have this. You either want to have it in your hand or ready to go. Just always have this. It's very, very good. Then we play Block Dragon. In previous versions, I didn't really like Block Dragon because you essentially are banning 3 Earth monsters from your hand or graveyard, and then it can be special summoned by other ways. So you have to banish 3, and then when it's destroyed, it only adds up to 3 whose levels equal 8. So math-wise, you can go for 2 level 4s, or you can go for like 2 level 3s, or a 3 and a 4. So yeah, you know, you're banishing 3 to then just return 2. I mean, it's not even the returning. I mean, you add monsters. So even that way, I mean, it's okay. However, thinking about it more, I realized that the way we can actually bring him out, we have cards such as Mrs. Radiant, that if it's in the graveyard, it counts. We have access to Direwolf, again, it counts. Baguska counts as an Earth. Even Imperial Magnum counts as an Earth. So you don't necessarily have to use the main deck monsters, you can just use Earth monsters from your extract. So this is a really good card in the late game, when you can just, you know, banish your extra deck monsters and then go into it. So I think that's one way to use this card nobody mentions. And then, you know, when this is destroyed, the search is pretty nice. Then we'll play Triple Delta. Delta is just like one of the better Magnet Warriors, and again, it's sort of like the reason why you can and don't want to play the vanillas, because he basically plays as a vanilla, and then at the same time, having the vanillas is nice because it's just extra food for Berserkion to pop stuff with. And then you can also use the vanillas to make Valkyrion, but I feel like the vanillas for me are just more nostalgia than actual, like, you know, utility. I mean, they are very useful, but I used to just play them because, oh, you know, it's the vanillas, you have to play them. But then now I'm like, no, I'm trying to make this deck competitive in one way or the other, so not a good idea to play the vanillas. So we just play triple Delta. Delta is very good in deck because he's a level 4, and he basically gives you access to your level 4 toolbox. You probably don't want to be playing things like Dweller, but you can. So like you can like take off the Dweller, and other than that, I'll keep the rest. So we still have spaces for 2 other cards. So it's up to you. So yeah, Delta, you use him because you can recur him from the graveyard with Magnetic Field. So you can make Direwolf if you need, or Castell, or Anorak, or even Baguska. So yeah, we'll play triple Alpha. Alpha sort of, when it's normal special, you add a level 8, so one of these two. And then during opponent's turn, he tags out for a level 4 Magnet Warrior, so it can be Delta or a Vanilla, if you choose to play the Vanillas. Then we play triple Beta. Beta adds a level 4 or lower, so he basically searches Delta, Gamma, Alpha, and then during opponent's turn, he tags out for like Delta or Vanillas, so yeah. Then I'll play 1 Sentry Soldier of Stone. This card is really good because it basically, while he's in the graveyard, you can special summon him if all monsters in your graveyard are rock type. And basically, because you can recur him so many times in the grind game, he just gives you access to your rank 3 toolbox. Which is a little bit worse than a rank 2 toolbox, but still a very good toolbox nonetheless. Then we'll play double Gamma. So Gamma, when he's normal or special, you can then special summon a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior from your hand. The reason we only play him at 2 is because you need him to bring out Berserkion, and other than that, he just special summons, and then if you just open up Gamma by himself, he's the least useful. And then you use him to banish cards with Delta, so, I mean, he does have his purpose in the deck, but very rarely will they need all 3 copies of Gamma. So yeah. Then we play double King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp is just a way to search out Polymerization, or to act as a substitution for the Imperial Magnum Fusion, so very, very good. People play Fusion Gate in this deck, but I don't like playing Fusion Gate because then we have to play Terraformings to search out the Fusion Gates, because just like top deck Fusion Gate isn't going to get you anywhere. So yeah. We play King of the Swamp. Then I've just put a little sample of hand traps you can play. Maxi is very, very good in the deck. You can play things like Ghost Ogre, and if you can't afford Ash Blossom, you can always just play Effect Veiler. Personally, I really like Effect Veiler because it's a lot cheaper, and it covers one of the options Ash covers, so, you know, it's old school, so, but still very good nonetheless. And Ghost Ogre is just good because when they activate, it doesn't negate, but it just destroys either way. So it's very good against continuous spells and traps, or big monsters that just activate their effects. So yeah. And then Maxi is just Maxi. We play Poly because that's how we make Imperial Magnum. And then, other than that, it can be searched with King of the Swamp. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Then we play the Taz of the Brand. This is by far the best card in the deck. It just adds so much speed because you can target a level 3. So basically, you can target Beta, Gamma, Alpha that's on the field, Taz of the Brethren, and then special summon the other Magnet Warriors. However, you can also use it to special summon out Sentry Soldier of Stone. And what you can do then is you can go into rank. You can make Mrs. Radiant, and then the Sentry Soldier of Stone goes to the graveyard because you use it to make the Mrs. Radiant, and then you can use its effect to special summon it and then go into a rank 3. So a very like speedy play. Although you can't use it on the same turn you activate Taz of the Brethren, because when you activate Taz of the Brethren, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn. So yeah, you have to watch out for that. So usually you can just put it in defense because that's 2,000 defense, or you can you just leave it there and then use the other 2 Magnet Warriors to tag out for Delta. So that way, you end up having monsters in the graveyard to use. Sentry Soldier of Sun. We play 1 Dark Hole because, I mean, it's like Raigeki, but not really. But if you want to play Raigeki, you can go ahead and play Raigeki, because I'm a budget player. I don't own a copy of Raigeki. I just play Dark Hole instead. But you can pretty much just play Raigeki and the deck will be fine. A 1 Soul Charge because this card just wins games. Going first, even going second. So, yeah, the card just wins games, basically. This is a very sucky card. A 1 Foolish. Foolish is good because you can send Delta, you can send Century Soldier of Stone. So it does have its uses in the deck. 1 copy of Twin Twisters. Arguably, you can take out the Foolish and play another Twin Twister. But, I mean, the deck does lose the back row a bit, but not, like, too much. I mean, to be honest, every deck loses the back row, but I think you don't need more than 1 copy, because you're already discarding a card, and if it's not, like, a card that you want to discard, like Block Dragon, you can even, you can Foolish Block Dragon, because Block Dragon's effect can be used from the graveyard. So, yeah. But yeah, Twin Twister, I only play 1, and I see it when I need it, and it has its uses, so yeah. And then we'll play 1 Magnet Reverse. So this card is really interesting because it targets a machine or rock type monster that is banished or in the graveyard that cannot be normal summon / set, and you special summon it. Now, what card cannot be normal summon / set? Berserkion. So this is a way to get a free Berserkion on the field, because Berserkion's effect reads, this card must first be special summoned from the hand by banishing. It doesn't say, it just means the first time. Once you get its first effect off, if you top deck Magnet Reverse, you can get a free special summon for Berserkion without meeting its conditions, because it only needs to be special summoned by banishing the electromagnets once. So a very, very cool interactive card. Then we'll play 1 Future Fusion. This card is like a really big threat because essentially you activate it and then it's a countdown for your opponent. So you activate it on first turn, it doesn't do anything. The second turn, you send a Valkyrion and a Berserkion. And then at that point, your opponent is like, okay, so do I just destroy it? And if they don't destroy it, the next turn you just get a Empyrean Magnum on the field, and it's just like, you have a negation, a floating card. This card just does everything, like, it will just carry the game. So Future Fusion, even though it got errated and it isn't as good as it used to be, it's still a very, like, big threat for your opponent. Then we'll play double Magnetic Field. Some people play this at 3, some people play this at 1. I like it at 2 because it adds consistency to the deck. Well, not necessarily consistency, but more like utility to the deck, because, and recovery play. So if you control a level 4 or lower Earth Rock monster, you can then special summon a Magnet Warrior from your graveyard. And then when a Earth Rock type monster you control battle an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed by battle, you can bounce the opponent's monster back to the hand. So this card, like, a lot of people don't know the last effect, and it catches so many people off guard because they just lose a monster. And it doesn't even have to be for just your Magnet Warriors. It can be for your Block Dragon, it can be for your Soldier of Stone, it can be for your Gorgonic Guardian. Oh no, Gorgonic Guardian is a rank, never mind. But yeah, you get the idea. Basically, if they leave it on the field in a battle and your monster gets killed, their monster bounces. So yeah. Now the trap lineup is very much up to personal preference, but experimenting with different cards, this is sort of like the cards that I'm confident that they all have a purpose in the deck, and drawing them is definitely not a bad card to draw. So Storming Mirror Force is just one of the better Mirror Forces, because when your opponent monster declares an attack, it doesn't destroy, it doesn't put them face down, it just returns them all to the hand. So very good there. Magnet Conversion, you can target up to 3 level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monsters in your graveyard and add them back to your hand. So this is really good because if you don't have access to your Berserkion or your Valkyrion or your Delta, you can just add those 3 cards back to your hand. So it's always very good to, you know, replenish yourself. And then the second effect is really good because if this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then target 1 banished level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster and special summon it. Now that's really good because you banish a lot with Block Dragon, you banish with Berserkion. So just being able to special summon something from a banished zone in form of like a trap card that's in the graveyard is very, very strong. So this card has two useful has two useful effects. That's why we don't play things like Foolish Burial, not Foolish Burial, Burrow from a Different Dimension, or DDR, Different Dimension Return. So this card kind of does that for you. And it's part of the archetype, so, you know, why not play it? And then we play double Call the Haunted. Call the Haunted is a really good card, but you always kind of want to save it for... you can use it to bring back the Berserkion as long as you special summon it first, and then if it's in the graveyard. Or you can use it at the end of your opponent's turn to make your plays, like... If you have, like, a Gamma in the grave, you can then, like, use this effect to... You can use Call the Haunted, bring back Gamma, and then Gamma's effect will special summon, like... Alpha or something from the hand. So Call the Haunted has a lot of utility in the deck. And then we play just two Solemns. Solemns are always good in any deck that's a rogue deck and doesn't have much defense. We do use life points for things like Test of the Brethren, but other than that, we still have the spare life points to use on Solemns. The extra deck. First I want to add an Imperial Magnum, because yeah, we can make it with Future Fusion or Poly. So we play double Imperial Magnum, big boss monster of the deck, has a negate. When it's destroyed, you can special summon a Valkyrian or a Berserkion. One Lancelot, because it can attack your opponent directly, and then it also has a negate effect. One Baguska, two, so we can like put him in defense and just sit on Baguska for like 1 or 2 turns, and then once you have more resources in the hand, we can go full force. One Honorak to just suck monsters up. One Castel to snipe them. Time and Die Wolf to destroy, because we can target itself, and then it frees up the extra monster zone. Break Sword works in the same way as Die Wolf, but it can also destroy any other card. So it doesn't necessarily have to target itself. You can use it to destroy things like your Magnet Conversion, and then Chain Magnet Conversion, or you can like destroy other cards and then use it. Leviate to bring things that are banished. Making this with Century Soldier of Stone is very, very good. Gorgonic Guardian, because it's like the best level 3 monster the deck can make. Phoenix Chin on legs and also destroys monsters with 0 attacks. And then Wind Up Zen Mains, because it's a good monster to just like go first, and it kind of protects itself, and then it can destroy cards. And then for links, we play with a 1D code, and I definitely want to play the second Mrs. Radiant. The reason I want to play the second Mrs. Radiant is because of Block Dragon. Now, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on Block Dragon, but drawing this card often wins games. So we definitely want to have plenty of cards that we can use to bring it out, that are not our Magnet Warriors. So yeah, that about wraps up the Magnet Warrior deck. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and until then, I'll see you in the next one.